Hey folks, it's Friday afternoon and time for some more development. I did a few updates last night on the supplies getting switched off when things were full, and I've been making videos today, so we didn't get around to testing it. Plus we had a small fear that it wouldn't work and we'd be back to the drawing board. So let's test it, shall we? We'll set up our make sure these are all okay, widget, that's fine. So everything is ready to go. We can just join up our conveyor belts now and plug these in. Okay, and finally we come in here. I'm either going to get no errors and everything's going to work fine, or we're going to be basically pumping out errors like no tomorrow. So here we have our bauxite travelling to the refiner. And now we have it refined into iron ore, and we're moving it along now to our smelter. Now I believe very shortly, yep, our input has been switched off because our refiner has too many goodies. Our steel plate is moving along nicely. And is our, yep, our supply has been switched back on again automatically. And now we need to have a look at our fabricator to see if it is actually running. We're going to be looking at the comp output, and the comp output is full. So basically, if we go into our fabricator, it should be switching this off fairly soon. Right, so we want to have a look in our fabricator. So we shall open this up and take a look. And the question is it processing? And the answer is, of course, no. But this is still, we have 36 sheets, 37. Right, so we want to stop this because this ain't working. Now the interesting thing is we don't have any errors, right? But what we do want to see is these things here. Now, is this correct? This is setting the wrong thing. This was the thing I was looking at last night. Okay. So, what we'll do is we'll plug this back in here, right? We'll put a breakpoint here. Then we shall look at the refiner and do the same thing, right? Because it should be calling the refiner because it's plugged into the refiner. And I think we might actually need to do right, okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to our interfaces. Right, and we're going to create two new functions. One's going to be called stop supplier output, and then the next one is going to be restart supplier output. Okay. So these two stop output, can we rename this? Right, these are the two that are going to be in the base building, right? Okay, so we're going to have to do a slight tweak here. In our base building, we are going to get the child actor. Right, and then we're going to stop supplier output. So this is going to be stop supplier output. Okay. And then this is going to be restart supplier output. Okay. So we'll delete this and we'll go to here. We'll save that. We'll go to our BPI. We'll rename this to have output. Okay, so from there, let's take a look at our input component, right? So we'll have a look at our comp input. Okay, and we're going to get rid of this for the moment. Okay. So we're basically going to do this, right? Okay, what does it not like? Doesn't like something. Restart supplier out. Ah, okay. Need to do that. Okay. So this means that we have checked if the supply is full, okay? And we've basically said either, well, basically what we're doing here is we're checking to see if the value's changed. If it has changed, we need to either say stop it or start it, okay? Now, the owner building, we need to get so if we go back to the refiner, what we'll do is we'll delete this. This is the stop processing. Right, and this is us telling the supply actor to stop processing. So then that's going to go to the right. So we're not going to call this anymore. So this is going to be stop supplier output. except it's going to be an event. Stop. Okay. And this is going to go, actually, this is going to be an interface called stop supplier output. Okay. And this is going to be restart supplier output. So we shall move this down and we shall basically see stop supplier output. Now if it tells us to stop the supplier output, then we're going to actually stop it. So this is going to be restart supplier output. And if we are told to do this, then we get comp the comp output. Oops. We get the comp output and we say recipient is full. Okay. And we do the same for this one, except we set it to false. Okay. And in here, we're going to delete that. And then we're going to copy these into our fabricator and our smelter. So we delete this and we paste it there. We save that. Okay. Then if we go into our smelter, we can do exactly the same thing. Delete that, paste that in. Okay. So now when we do this, we should get our smelter getting hit with this. Okay. When it basically, when the fabricator fills up, it should fire this in the smelter. So let's have a go at that, shall we? We've got a breakpoint here. Okay. So let's build our conveyors again once these are active. And come on. Okay. Just going to make sure these are set up right. Widget, yep. I don't trust this smelter at all. Smelters are a shady bunch, apparently. I don't know why these planes are so pernickety about getting hovered over. But anyway. So what we're looking for here is our fabricator getting fired to say to the smelter, don't put stuff on the conveyor belt. That's what we're interested in here. We may need to slightly change our actually no, we shouldn't. Well, maybe we need to change the miner, but we'll worry about that in a second or two. Yeah, you'll notice our miner's not stopping at all. But I'm not too worried about that. But we can look at our fabricator and we can look at the input. And we can see what we've got here. There we've got our 10, okay? We've got our 10 and the smelter has been basically told to stop. And you can see now that this has stopped. Now, we should see at some point the refiner stopping as well. So, if we go to the refiner and input, actually it's the output we want to look at. Well, in actual fact, we want to look at the smelter. Okay. We want to have a look at the comp input here. and it's now at 18. Right, and it has told this one to stop. So the only one we've got to fix up is the miner. Hey Black Panda, how are you? How are you today? This fine Friday afternoon. If it's a fine Friday afternoon for you. So we're going to copy this. And then this is going to go in the miner. Exactly like so. So instead of this and this thing here, we can delete that and we can go with that, right? Yeah, it's nice to see a few new faces today. We've got Alp, who was in earlier, and Black Panda. So we've saved all that, and now I'm thinking our supplier is actually working. I don't know why you would want to do that, but whatever, I suppose. Why are you integrating Google Ads into your game? That's the question. I mean, it's an interesting topic, but I still can't see why anybody would want to do that. One would think that that would be the most obnoxious thing you could do in a game, is put Google Ads in a game. Especially if they're paying for it. Even a mobile game, to be honest. That depends. I mean, if that's what you want to do, then that's up to you. I suppose. It just wouldn't be my design philosophy, put it that way. So our supply has been stopped successfully. It'll hopefully be started up again. And it has started up again. So what we're going to do as a final test is we're going to connect up the widgets coming out to a warehouse. Right, so basically when we do that, it should start everything back up again. Okay. We're stopping supplier on the smelter. Right, so that's good. So basically this is now going to stop outputting, which it has. Then gradually we should see the same thing on the refiner. So we'll add a breakpoint there just to see it happening. Because this is still putting stuff on here. Right, and our smelter is still going. Nope, there we go. Smelter has just been told, the refiner has just been told by the smelter to stop. So we can disable that and let it run. This has stopped. So basically this is going to get its last little flurry of bauxite, and then it's going to stop again. And then basically everything is going to have stopped due to the fact that our fabricator is full, which is exactly what we want. That makes perfect sense. So that's been stopped. Okay, so now here's the interesting part, right? So we'll just make, right, so there's absolutely nothing on our conveyor belts because this is full, the output is full. So I don't quite understand that, Panda. Is it Google Ads you can't integrate with Unity, or you've moved over to Unreal and you can't integrate the ads? I'm reading it like you've made your first foray into Unreal Engine and it's causing a problem because you can't do the ads. That's my understanding of what you just said. So we join that up. And everything should gradually get started up again. Our widgets are coming out. Here come the sheets. Here come the barrels. And the last one is going to be our bauxite. I'm not too sure about that. If you can do it in Unity, then I'm pretty sure there's a way of doing it in Unreal Engine. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can open a browser in Unreal Engine, and if that's the case, then you would just give it the browser to your Google Ads account or something, which would sound kinda like the solution. Right, so there we go. Everything got started back up again as soon as we started outputting stuff to outputting our widgets to the warehouse. And our widgets are moving down the warehouse. There they go. There's one there. The lighting ain't great, but you get the point. They are moving along. There's one there. There's one, you can see them as they turn that corner. And we can see our barrels getting output here. I am making an amalgamation of Factorio, Satisfactory, Surviving Mars with a smidgen of RimWorld. I'm not too sure about the RimWorld thing, but my workers have got structures. So I could make them have, you know, their own little thing where they bugger off and won't work and shit like that. That was kind of half the point. Now, the point of this thing here is this is the resupply ship, right? And you can only trade with the resupply ship when it's landed on your planet, right? So when this screen isn't here, that means your resupply ship is off planet. Okay? So when it comes back into land, it comes in and it lands. So you know it's landed, and then you can hit 5 and trade with the ship. Okay? And the main thing is that you buy workers, but workers cost a crap ton. Okay? Now, you also research things, because there's a research tree, right? So this is the research tree, and basically this all works, but all this text is in the way at the moment because I'm an idiot. But like, you can start researching stuff, and basically you won't be able to make certain products until you've made like a fabricator 2, which will allow you to make something more complicated, etc, etc, right? And this is movable, so you can like view all your tree. Okay, so it's just a matter of doing that. The way you find research or minerals is you send out your drones, right? So like, we can send out our drones to here. This is our player base. You'll see our drones take off. And then start flying over. And then they start scanning. Right, so the end of the scan will then create this, the mineral patch. And then basically it'll build a miner. Right, like so. And then that miner will have a certain mineral attached to it. Now, this is a little muckabout of when we start doing defences, right? That you can, that's going to be when the gun detects an enemy, and then once the enemy has disappeared, it will disappear again. Okay, so that's a little play with that. You can remove stuff, like I can click on remove, and then, well, you can't do it with a miner, right? But let's say, I probably can't, oh, I can, right, okay, whatever. Right, I can build stuff, right? So I can build my refinery, and I can take it away once it's active. Right. You can have a look at a grid of the world. And the grid kind of moves with you to show you your position on the map, etc. And there are splitters and recombiners, so that you can split this into like 3 different outputs. And we're not too sure if we're going to do power yet, right? Whether I'm going to have power lines or whatever. Not too sure about that, but you never know. So this warehouse is like your, oh yeah, wait a minute. So the next thing you can do is you can go to your inventory and you can craft as well. So like, I can craft a smelter, right? Rather than build it from here, I can actually build one into my inventory, right? So you can build certain things in your crafting, and then it does a crafting queue. Like if I do this, right, I can click 5 of them, 5 of them, 1 of them, right? And you'll notice that it'll gradually do these. And then it'll gradually build the widgets and stuff. Okay? And yeah, I'm making this solo. This is all. There's only one thing that I haven't done in this, and that's make this outline thing, which somebody did for me. So you can like click on a building and it'll tell you what it's doing basically, how many workers it's got, products per cycle, cycle speed, current workers, overall efficiency. Right, if you click on a miner, it'll show you something slightly different, but it'll tell you it's a miner. It's ore type, products per cycle, cycle speed, current workers, overall efficiency, minerals available, total mined, etc, etc. So this one gives you the same thing. You can select the different recipes that you want to make. This one similarly shows you what you can make, etc, etc. And then there's one slightly different one, which is, if I click on here and then click on here, this is the research, and when you click on that it's slightly different. Now I added another build another day. Oh yeah, I added a metalworks, right, which we're going to use as well, but that's a new type of building. So different things are going to be made in different places. Right, so if you click on this, it shows you a different thing. Right, now, if we select the research, close that, and then select this now, it shows us that that is what we're researching. Right, and then in this side, we're going to do some details. Right, like how percentage done, what advantages or it gives you, blah blah blah, right? So yeah, and then obviously here's the drones, the drone station, and basically the drones fly from here and then go back and land on their specific spot. And yeah, so I could leave this for the next couple of days and it would just work away. It would just do its thing. I would just gradually get more and more widgets in here. So at the moment there's 182, 183, 184, blah blah blah. Well, it won't actually go because this miner will run out and then it will be all screwed. Well, it'll not be screwed, it will just run out and then it will have to stop processing because it's not got anything to process anymore. But yeah. So I think I'm going to go and grab a cigarette, and then when we come back, I've decided I'm not going to do the research, but we might do that in the last hour or last half hour. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it that you can delete a miner and it's going to delete the spline. Well, it's a long way out, but if you want, you can go and check out the Patreon. It's in the description. You can join the Discord. You can check out my previous game, which is Tower Defense. It's on Steam. and you can support the project. Well, that's up to you, but it's nice to have your interest anyway. Right, so I'm going to leave you guys to watch some pretty little patterns, my game weave pretty patterns. Or I'll put up the test card and I shall be back in about 2 minutes. So stick around guys, I'll be back in 2. Okay, we're back guys. I think what we'll have a look at is removing a miner and then removing everything connected to the miner. Yeah, Black Panda, you can join Discord as well. There's a link to Discord in the description as well. You'll be welcome there. And if you want me to take a look at your Google Ads issue, then I'll be happy to do so while I'm not on stream. See if we can come up with a solution for you. Right, so we're going to get rid of this text. That's the first thing. So we'll stop it just now, and our output and input is working fine. Our switches are now switching everything off when we need them to and switching things back on when we need them to, and that's all great. So the next thing we need to do is remove our miner. And the miner is basically going to get a call to remove itself. Right? So let's see what we've got here. Have we got a destroy me? Nope, we haven't. So let's do that, shall we? Basically, it's going to have references to everything it needs, like the conveyor out. The conveyor out is going to give us references to what it's connected to. So fundamentally, we can just basically do a interface call and it's going to be remove self from game. That makes sense. Okay, so we're going to create this for the miner first, right? But we are going to create the same thing for each. So we do remove self from game. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to our controller and we're going to look for our left click and that's all to do with adding the spline. So what we need to do is check in our menu for the remove button to see what it does and what it sets up, because what we're going to have to do, yeah, okay, so we can basically look at our researcher, right? We can look at a research building because we know that had a remove on it, and I'm basically pretty sure that it's got right. So what we could do is research station, right? And if you click, it does a click me, right? So we can look at the base build and click me, and if it's set to remove, then we do this. It's doing a destroy all, right? So in actual fact, we don't need this. It has got a destroy all on it. Right, so if we go back to our miner, we can delete that, and then we can say event destroy all. Okay. Now, I'm just wondering if this is going to do any weird stuff. With the... Basically what I'm saying is, if I just destroy self, right? If I just say destroy actor, right? And self, is it going to do any weird stuff? Right? The thing I'm interested in here is right, that's not going to do what I want it to do, right? What I'm actually going to have to do is get the conveyor out and then I'm going to have to destroy actor there. So that's going to destroy the spline. So first of all, we destroy the spline, and then we destroy the actor. Okay. So we can save that. And my issue with this is it going to do anything weird to our spline, right? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get our refiner, because that's what we're really interested in, okay? And we are interested in this here, what this is going to tell us. Okay? Before and after we destroy the miner. Right, so our miner is now BP spliner, okay? And the interesting part is if we hit remove, this has still got a reference. Okay? So basically we need to clear this. Yeah. And this is why it's given us this stuff here. So we don't do this straight away. But what we do, we get end actor, dismiss that, okay, then our issue here is we might actually need an interface call here to remove its own spline or reference to the spline, right? So we'll do that here in BPI building, and we shall call it remove input spline ref. Okay. And did I close that completely? No, I didn't, thank God for that. Right. So in here, we're going to need another reference, another interface call. And we're going to be doing that. So this is going to be event remove input spline ref. And then we're going to paste that in. Oops. Oops a daisy. And then this isn't going to be that. It's going to be remove input spline ref. We're going to have to take the context off, and we do that. Okay. We're going to save that. And then in our refiner, we're going to add our interface call, which is event remove interface spline. And then in this one, we're going to say conveyor in set to nothing. Okay. So we're now on the miner, even though all of these are actually going to end up the same. So it's going to be remove that, right? So we're going to remove that. And then we're going to get conveyor out. And destroy actor. And then we're going to destroy ourselves. Okay, and this should work for all our. We should be able to copy this and paste it directly into the smelter. Well, the refiner and the smelter are going to need the output spliner as well. So basically, when you delete that, if there's anything connected, well, so that actually gives me this actually So what we need to do here is actually check this. We get that, then we say is valid. Okay. So we need to check if this is valid to destroy it. If it's valid, we do that. And if it's not valid, we don't move that. If it's not valid, our stuff has a heart attack. My mouse stops working and everything goes to pot, apparently, if it's not valid. So we can add a reroute node, and then if that's not valid, we just basically delete ourselves, the actor, the miner, in this case. This is all going to be slightly different for the refiners and stuff, but the concept's the same. It's just we're going to be checking for an output spliner and an input spliner. Okay, so we're going to do a quick save all. Do run. And let's have a look. If we create this, we can do that. Click on that. Got BP spliner. If we click on that, delete, voila. This is set back to none. Everything's good. Wait a minute. Has this got an input? It has got an input. We're going to take a look at that to see if it's going to screw anything up. And it has given us aha. All right. Houston, we have a problem. So, as per usual, we didn't think of the objects that were on the spline already, right? So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to look at our BP object now and find out it has got my spline. Okay. So that's interesting. What we need to do now then is we need to go back to now, there's two ways of doing this, right? Or let's say there's an easy way to do it and there's a better way to do it, right? What we could do is just check to see that the my spline is equal to the spline that we're deleting. And if it is, we delete that object, okay? But when you think about it, we could have a hell of a lot of BP output objects to go through, right? And we may need to measure it down a bit and get the actual ones that we want to delete rather than go through them all. But let's do the first version anyway, right? Let's do it this way first. We can always optimize for this. Right, so what we'll do is we'll grab this. We don't want to grab that reroute node. What we want to do is come along here, right? And get all actors with tag, right? And this is product. Okay. So, whoop, don't want to do that. Well, maybe we do. So we're going to loop through all the actors with the reference, with a tag of product, okay? And then we're going to do obviously a for each. We can't do a break because we've got to test them all. We don't know what order they're going to be in. We'll move this away out, okay? Not that I think we need a heck of a lot of room more to finish this, but anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, I think it's my spline. Well, actually what we're going to have to do is cast to BP output object, right? I mean, we could do get all actors of class, which would give us the BP output object. Output object. And if we did it this way, it would already be cast. So we wouldn't actually need to do this. What I'll do is I'll break that. I'll break that. We don't actually need this. Okay, so what we can do is that. Then we can do a for each. And then this will already be of the type BP output object. Then we can say get my spline. And if it equals, and we do conveyor out, then we branch, and if it is, we destroy actor, and that is going to be that is going to go there, and now on completed we can go back to here, add a reroute node, drag it down a bit, then we can drag this in a bit, Okay, so now when we do this, we should be deleting all the stuff connected to the spline, then deleting the spline, and then deleting the minor. Okay. And then this gives us a good idea of what we're going to need to do for the other buildings. So we'll let this generate a few. Then we shall delete this. And then we can stop it. And we have no errors. So there we go. Much better. We can delete this. And now we can tidy this up a bit. Right? We can tidy this up a bit. We'll have this down here. You can drag this down a bit to here. Add another reroute node. Make it here. And there we go. Excellent. I'm still very much wanting to split these up into different event graphs, like interface calls and stuff, or section them into different colours or something. I mean, I know this isn't actually very much in the grand scheme of things, but it starts to get a bit annoying, kinda. Well, to me anyway. Maybe you guys don't think so, but... Right, so anyway. Whatever this is. Oh yeah, we need to leave that in. Right. I think what we'll do is we'll move this down here, right? As I said, I need a way to sort of, and we're going to create a custom event. And we're going to go play shot down. Play shut down sound. Okay. And now when we stop processing, we can clear the timer and say play shutdown sound. Right, we can obviously do the same on the other one. But we now have a basic coding for removing the minor. And as I said, this is going to be similar for both the other buildings basically, right? So there we have it. And that's some good progress today, by the way. That is actually a pretty decent amount of progress. It gives us a building frame for this, for the destroy all thing. And then it also gave us the sound that we wanted, because we only wanted to do it once. And it's now doing that, and then doing it when it runs out of minerals, which is fine. I'm happy with that. Right? And we should have actually done that as well. Right? We can paste that in there. And then, funnily enough, we could do something similar. We don't need to do, say, do once. And probably we don't want to call it play sound. We just want to call it process shutdown. Right? And then we could do another custom event called process custom event. And this is going to be called process restart. Okay. Now in this case we're only going to do this. Right, that's because basically we haven't got a sound for restarting it up, but if we did, we could play this sound and then restart these. But in actual fact, this is going to be activate. Right, so we actually plug these in here, then we take that, drag it in here, remove that, move this back up. So once we get a sound, we can just plug it in here, right? And then instead of process shutdown, we can say process restart. Right? Then for each of the different buildings, we can do our sound, different sounds, whatever we're setting to move or do whatever. And then we'll be good. Okay? So, I don't know if you guys will hear this, but if I do this now and don't delete right, so what we'll do is we'll turn the sound up a bit on my computer, and hopefully our microphone will pick it up when it happens. Okay, so we're going to do that, we're going to do that, then we're going to do that, then that. And it did make a sound there, not that it should have, but we'll do a conveyor again, and this will mean that we can do stuff. So hopefully the mic will pick this up, and we should see that, you see the rotating parts, they should stop. And they didn't. Right. Right, okay, whatever. Let's have a look. So that's a restart. That's fine. I should be activate and deactivate. Okay. So weird one, this. Let's see if this is getting fired. So this is getting deactivated, right? That only gets deactivated when it right, so let's do that again. So it should be this. Add breakpoint. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's actually okay. Right. Our processing, our output object on our miner isn't. Alright, if we look at our comp output object, our storage limit is 10. Right? But the problem is with this, we aren't stopping processing. We should though. Let's see if it actually does. Well, we've got a breakpoint here anyway, so we can check that. Our problem, of course, is that I think it's more than 10 already. So we'd have to build another one. And I think we'll do that tonight. So if you've joined the stream, thank you for watching. I hope you've had a good time. Check out the description, you can join Discord. Look at the Patreon and previous Steam game. Hit the subscribe, and I shall see you all at 8 PM tonight, Central Time. Bye for now, guys.